Hi there, my name's Brookhouse and welcome to my latest update of my Park Historica. Now it's been a while since I've done an update because I'm not particularly quick at building, and I was waiting for the update pack to come out to just glaze my Crystal Palace that you can see on the left hand side of the screen, but that's all sorted now. So as I've been building, what I've been doing is recording key moments, so I'll talk you through those now. So this part of the park is themed around the Industrial Revolution in the UK. So what I tried to do is pick out landmarks that symbolise the Industrial Revolution, and the first one that I came up with is the Iron Bridge, which is an arch bridge that crosses the River Severn in Shropshire, and it was opened in 1781, and it's the first major bridge in the world to be made of cast iron. And so to build this bridge, I basically built it flat on the ground in sections, and then I just copied them because there are 5 repeating patterns, and you can see what the original one looks like because I've included a picture here at the bottom of the screen, and I think it's a fairly faithful reproduction of the original. Getting the path to align to the top of the bridge was a little bit tricky and fiddly, but eventually after a little bit of a play I made it match the angles so it goes up one side, hits the peak, and then comes down the other side. And as you come down off the bridge you see my Union Flag Plaza, which was a little bit tricky to make with a pathing tool, but I do thank Taggy 3D for his tutorials on using the pathing tool that has really helped. And then you can see Silverette's build of one of his coasters in the background that I just used as a blueprint for a guidance for my Victoria baths. And so here is the outline of the Victoria baths, and I'll put a photograph of the real one in Manchester on the screen that I'm using as an inspiration. So the blueprint from Silv is really just an inspiration of the amount of detail that I wanted to get in my final build. After a lot of trial and error and finding pieces, this is how it turned out. So I'll put this photograph on the screen again to compare my build with the original. And so it's not completely identical, but again, it's heavily inspired by the original. And using a photograph can really make your builds look a lot more detailed and just stand out a bit more. Now around the back, I've had to make the detail up a little bit, and it's nowhere near quite as detailed, but it's still got a similar kind of feel. Then if we go inside, there is a swimming pool that is again inspired by the original baths that are still inside this building, so you can pay to go inside and see the original pools. And I think they have actually refilled one of these pools as well with water. Now at this point I was waiting for the update to come so I'd have glass that I could put in the skylight in the roof, but I'll show you that in the walkthrough of the park that's coming shortly. Before we do a walk around the park in its current state, I will also just show you my Crystal Palace that I built. Now this is inspired by the Crystal Palace that was built in 1851 for the Great Exhibition. It was built in Hyde Park, and it had more than 14,000 exhibitors from all over the world in a 990,000 square foot exhibition space. So it was really quite spectacular. But basically it was quite a simple build, even though it looks complicated. I built one end based on plans that I found on the internet, and then I just copied and pasted it many times to build it into its length, and then copied one end and turned it round and built the atrium across the middle to make the cross shape, and it was fairly straightforward. Now again, at this point I was still waiting for the glazing to appear in the update, so it's unglazed at this point. But what we'll do now is we'll have a walk around the park and you'll see all of the glass in place and all of the extra things I've added since the update. It's quite a long while since I've done an update, so what we'll do, let's walk around the park in viewer cam because I'll show you the new area from the viewer's aspect. Now it's not 100% finished, but over here this is my iron bridge that's based on the one in Telford in Shropshire. So let's go over the bridge now. So there's quite a lot of guests in the park, so we'll just barge through all of these people here. It does get quite crowded at the end of the bridges for some reason, so we'll go across the bridge, and this is where we get the first proper view of the Industrial Revolution zone. So if we stop at the end, you see the now fully glazed Crystal Palace, thanks to the update that came a few weeks ago. So I've fully glazed that. So let's go down these stairs and have a look around the Crystal Palace. If we go into here, then you can see this tree in the middle that is actually based on the real trees that were in the Crystal Palace. The update has also made the waves a little bit more defined in the wave pool. So we've got lots of people over there waiting to go up on the flume. That's really busy. That's another tweak that was fixed in the update. Let's go into the Victoria baths. So they've now got a frontage. So we've got some flower beds here in front of the building. The building is completely finished, and if we go in, you can see obviously there's the changing rooms just here on the right that have been disguised, and I did really like the way that this green brick texture has turned out, because it really does match the green tiles that are part of the real building. Doesn't always get dead busy in here, but I still like the way it's turned out. Now I have dropped a flat ride in off this Union Flag Plaza. I think it's a really good set piece. So the flat ride that I've put in is a Chairplane, and what I've done is I've given it a very red, white and blue theme, and so I've gone quite nuts with the red, white and blue. A lot of these flowers down here in this bed have been themed red, white and blue. I've also got a red, white and blue sign. Let's just back up a little bit. There we go. Over the top of the entrance and exit. And then just here, I've made myself some bunting, just using art shapes. And there's red, white and blue flowers along this bed at the front, and more of those multicoloured red, white and blue flowers there in between the queue line. So if we come around here, I have got to do something with this area here in front of this lake. I'm not totally happy with that yet. I don't know what I'm going to do. And then we've got a mine train. I wanted to put this in because of the association with coal and the Industrial Revolution, and this is based on a real mine that's reasonably close to where I live called Chatley Whitfield, so I haven't completely made that up. And if we go down here, this never gets so busy, so I don't know why this doesn't get too busy. It's quite quiet again at the moment. There's a few people going. Now this building that's a station is based on one of the real buildings at Chatley Whitfield, and then this winding mechanism here is also based on the real winding mechanism at Chatley Whitfield. I haven't completely copied it, there's slight differences, but it's heavily inspired, shall we say. And then we go, let's just walk through the station. I won't ride the, oh, I've got trees clipping through there, I'll have to sort that out. I won't ride the train because it isn't very long, it's more of a family ride and it's not that exciting. But then we come out into the open again, and I've got a little bit of theming here, and on this right hand side it's left open because that's going to be the next area that I expand into. And then finally just here I've got a lighthouse. Now this has been borrowed from the workshop. It was something that I used just as a bit of guidance for what is possible, but I really like it, so I've decided to keep it in the actual park. But I'll put a link down below in the comments to the place in the workshop to give credit to who made this, because it's a really good build. and I've used the top down here as part of the sign, but I wanted to use this because of the connection with electricity and how that started to be used more in the Industrial Revolution. So there we go, and that just takes us round to the back of the Victoria Baths, and we loop around here so you can get in through that way, or you can go round the back. And what I've also tried to do is just there's a set of toilets that's disguised as part of the building, and if we go down this staff path just here, this building that sticks out of the back is also a staff room. So I've tried to blend it in with the scenery so they don't stand out as standalone buildings, and that is the end of my tour for my Industrial Revolution. So I hope you've enjoyed this update and a little bit of a talk about building these structures that are based on places in the UK from the Industrial Revolution. I've really enjoyed making them. It's taken quite a while, so it's been a while since my last update. But if you have enjoyed it, don't forget to click like, subscribe and the bell notifications, because that really does help me out. So all that's left now is to say stay safe, and I'll see you soon.